slow. Let's hope we don't have to hear from him too much as the two sides get themselves ready for kick-off round 3 of the Betfred Super League as Wakefield Trinity take on St Helens, and it's the Saints who are going to get us off and underway in just a moment or two as Kyle Felt puts the ball down on the centre line. We're just waiting for some of the smoke to clear here in the middle of the pitch, because the fireworks did send out quite a lot. It's taking 1 or 2 minutes, but the sun is starting to poke through the clouds here and there. Now perfectly set for what should be a terrific afternoon and a terrific weekend of rugby league, of course. Don't forget, later on, Viva Las Vegas, Wigan versus Warrington, on what will be a very, very important game for the whole of Super League. The action, the fun and games that have been going on there has been huge, and a massive number of fans of all clubs going over to the gambling capital of the world to watch that game as Wakefield have possession early doors with Mike McMeekin, who's tackled over on the far side, just short of the halfway line, as Lino spins it out in towards the middle here for Hamlin Welly, just over the halfway line. And here on these early return here, pretty good, strong work from Wakefield so far.
Yeah, great work from Wakefield. Strong carries. There's a real problem with Joe Batchelor holding his right shoulder, whether he's took a stinger or not, but that was the intent with the forwards were running for Wakefield. And Wakefield are a side that just won't go away. Benison catches a ball.
Well, the thumb has gone up for Batchelor over on the far side from the physio, so he looks like he's going to be okay for the moment, but he'll have to keep an eye on that one. Paul Wellens, the Saints coach, no doubt. Wakefield now having to do a little bit of defending as Darryl Clark waits for the ball at dummy half, pushes it away towards the near side touchline. Saints on the 40-metre line with Clark waiting again, pushing it out towards the right-hand side for a first big carry for Alex Wormsley over on the halfway line. And Wormsley again in these early stages of the season, Terry, looking in ominous form.
Yeah, well, last week against Casper made 249 metres. Oh, is there a mistake, or does it go backwards? It's a mistake from Max Jowett. Normally perfect, reliable at the back. Comes up with a fumble against Saints, and I'd be so disappointed with that.
That is a very uncharacteristic mistake. You'd expect Max Jowett to be safe as houses under those circumstances.
Yeah, and in these conditions as well. There's not a breeze around, the pitch is nice and dry. Darryl Powell and Michael Shenton be really disappointed with that first error.
St Helens then gifted the opportunity in these early stages with just over 2 minutes on the clock. And the ball will come to them just 10 metres short of the Wakefield line, out to the left side for Saylor. Saylor waiting for some support in the shape of Benison. Benison brings it back in and is upended. Everyone away to the right-hand side now, barring Mark Percival, who now comes in to that long side. Quickly down the line for Wormsley to try and push his way forward for more, and penalty given, as he said.
Yeah, penalty. Yeah, the groans from the fans. And the referee, Liam Rush, saying that there was hands in, strips the ball away. Big Alex Wormsley certainly takes some handling, doesn't he? And you know what, he goes down, he loses that ball for me.
Well, in other circumstances, we might see a captain's challenge there, but that hasn't happened.
Well, they can certainly get away with that's going to be a big battle. Mike McMeekin versus Alex Wormsley. They get away with one, Saints.
Well, this is something of a surprise for me, because they've called for the 2 straight away. Kicking tees out for Mark Percival. It's an easy 2 points, let's be fair. But in that position, at this early stage in the game, would you have preferred to go for goal? Look for the line?
I think when you look at this and you look at the likes of Alex Wormsley, when he goes in, they get offered the 2 points because of where they are. They get the penalty, and I think that they'll take the points. Like Wakefield are a side that won't go away in Super League this year. We saw that in the opening 2 rounds. And I think they're really gutsy performances from some of the big players as well.
Well, Mark Percival this season in Super League, largely due to the fact that Saints have scored 24 tries coming into this game, largely due to that anomalous match against Salford. So that's 1 from 1 from Percival, and St Helens lead by 2 points to 0.
And Wakefield need a decent set here, look. Alex Walmsley gets the penalty. They'll need to make sure Wakefield at the discipline, they get hold of the ball and have a few cracks down there near Saints' line. Jake Truman, Mason Lino, Max Jowett, all the 3 players who can cause some problems.
Wakefield just need to settle themselves, don't they? Clearly a little bit rattled after Jowett losing that ball from the long kick earlier. And obviously Walmsley with that tackle producing the penalty.
They're a real workman-like side, Wakefield, and you give the ball out wide to Corey Hall, Ollie Pratt. They're 2 creative centres that will create space for the likes of Tom Johnstone and Alex Walmsley, and Lachlan Walmsley, sorry.
Here is Alex Walmsley bringing it forward for St Helens. Through into the middle for Sirene. On the 20. They want to play it quickly here. St Helens.
Great run from Jake Wingfield.
Indeed. Wingfield is coming, of course, because Morgan Knowles failing that head injury assessment. Of course, the news breaking this week that he is going to be leaving us at the end of this season. Morgan Knowles going off to join up with the Dolphins and his former coach, Christian Wolf. That's a major loss for St Helens, isn't it?
Yeah, huge loss for St Helens, and also Super League, a quality player, isn't he? But we've seen that over the years when players go down to the NRL, they want a chance their arm. It just gives another opportunity to another youngster to come through and make a name for themselves.
Johnstone is wrapped up in the tackle. And Wakefield with Vanganar now bringing it through to their own 20-metre line. Liam Hood back in the side this afternoon for Wakefield, playing at hooker. He was involved in the game against Leeds in round 1, but limped off after 49 minutes.
You would have liked to have seen him then when Corey Hall got through, poked his nose through the line and got a win. Go again off the ruck. Instead, they tried to play wide, which slowed the play down, and they haven't recovered from that, although they do get a penalty now.
Yeah, Walmsley involved there. Lachlan Walmsley, that is, and the referee going over to have a word. And Wakefield get themselves a penalty here.
Yeah, good work, good carry. You see 4 players just in there, just a bit too long, trying to slow the winger down. But sometimes if you do get a win, you don't always have to push the ball and go for that width play. Just keep damaging them around the ruck.
Pratt then with a short ball into the middle for Matty Staunton. Hood waits at dummy half. Quickly down the hands it goes for Wakefield. There's a long pass out from Jowett. He managed to find Corey Hall, and he's done well there. Tom Johnstone to keep hold of the ball. And he's been pushed out of play, though. And that's good defensive work from Saints.
Yeah, just couldn't quite get in the field then, Tom Johnstone. They pushed the ball out. Quick hands from Corey Hall, and you could see them jamming in. Kyle Feld did a tremendous job along with Robertson to just hold Johnstone up, manhandle him, get him over that try line. Strong defence from Paul Wellens, his men.
We mentioned Tristan Saylor early on in the snapshot, but Kyle Felt is another player, another one of the new signings who's also had a huge impact on St Helens so far.
Yeah, a quality player, isn't he? Kyle Felt, one club man in Australia for the Queensland Cowboys, over 200 appearances, brings a lot of professionalism to the side.
Clark misses out Walmsley and goes instead to Wingfield.
Liam Hood on the one-on-one strip.
Wakefield come up with the ball. And Mason Lino now. Chance for the home side to maybe get back into it, and then it all goes the way of the pair.
Yeah, it's an incorrect play, the ball.
Yeah. Time off. Marcus.
Looks like we may have a captain's challenge here.
Wakefield are challenging the ruling of no balance and control.
So that means we have to go and hear for the first time from our video referee this afternoon, Marcus Griffiths.
So it's tackle 1. We have an on-field decision of no balance and control. So it is a legal tackle, so we'll go through to the play of the ball. So at the point in which the ball is played Liam Hood has no bounce and control. The challenge is unsuccessful. It's going to be a incorrect play the ball. Challenge.
So you'll see in just a second, Darryl Powell will not have a very happy face
Challenge unsuccessful.
because the challenge has been unsuccessful.
No balance and control. Play the ball here. Fix play the ball.
What did he make of that?
It's not a popular choice, is it? And,
Time back off.
you know, you see a lot of those players just waved on that they're okay, but the referee, Liam Rush, says,
No, the
nope,
hands have no
we're not
effect
having
on
that.
one, Mike. Thanks.
They did all the hard work, didn't they, to just get the
Ball back in the first place, yeah. So bringing it forward, Curtis Sirenen for St Helens, just short of the halfway line. Clark lining everybody up away to his right-hand side.
Move now, Mike.
As Wingfield found Wormsley. Through again through the middle for St Helens. And Matty Lees getting a first real touch. As Clark once more. Lovely hands and an offload, and Wingfield could be away here. Through in towards the edge of the 10-metre line. He's still going, brought down just short. And the Wakefield player says he's knocked on. And the referee's seen it, he agrees.
Well, that's the danger from Saints, isn't it? They look up, they play what's in front of them. And as soon as one player gets through the line, the push that they have around the ball is exceptional. The winning culture that's been created from Saints over the years is always support the man, get where the man is. That's the danger, who's got the ball. And you can see the second effort that comes over the top. Is it Jake Truman that comes over the top that forces the error? Desperation from Wakefield.
Mason Lino and Jay Pitts involved in the tackle as well. But ultimately, it still means the same. And the fact is that Wakefield have possession back again. And we thought this game would probably be pretty tight as Lachlan Wormsley gets wrapped up. And so far, aside from that early mistake, neither side really giving an inch.
Yeah. You know, you've got two sides here that all the players know what the roles are within the side. They've got to play for 80 minutes. The bench, when they come on, they've got to bring some real big impact and aggression, make a difference.
He's making the impact there as Wakefield come forward with Vangenaar just over the 40.
Well, that's the big challenge for Tristan Saylor, line up against Vangenaar.
He's another player making a big impact on Super League with Wakefield this season. Wakefield players calling for the ball to be played quicker than that. Not happy with the way that St Helens are lying down in some of the tackles here. Quickly picked up by Jonathan Bennison. So Lomax waits behind him. Short run. And three white shirts in the tackle there.
You see Liam Hood, the number 9, they're really launching themselves into Saints. They hit really hard. Liam Hood, the number 9, hits under the ball, looks to chop down those big fellas.
Hood again, get involved there. As Wellesby has come into the line. Sirenen just short of halfway now. St Helens tackles in the bank as well. Wormsley wanting a big, well, either way. Just took his eye off the ball, or more likely just off the runner there, Alex Wormsley, as Wingfield was waiting for it.
You see some of the big lads in Super League like trying to promote the pass. Alex Worms is devastating when he goes forward. It just goes over the shoulder of Jake Wingfield, whether he was expecting it or not.
Great atmosphere here again at the DIY Kitchen Stadium. It was a full house the other night against Hull KR with 8,065 people in. That's the biggest gate since 2008. And the way things are looking and the way this team is playing, you'd expect they'll be putting up the house full sign on a regular basis here over the course of the season. Pushing forward again here, Wakefield, with Liam Hood waiting. Goes away to his left-hand side for Jay Pitts for the first touch, and then McMeekin. Jay Pitts playing in his 400th career appearance this afternoon. Here's Vangenaar. Trying to steal an extra couple of yards. It's hard work for both sides in these early stages.
Set restart here.
Hood goes for it down the short side on the left. Runs out of space. As you say, 6 more incoming here for Wakefield Trinity. as they bring it down the line. Lino in towards Jowett. Jowett to the 10-metre line. And then the referee's blown up here. Looks like an offside. And they'll get another, or are they considering the 2?
Mason.
No, I
decided to run it.
Look, I think they're going to run it here, but I would have gone for 2 points here. Just level it up, take the points, like Saints did earlier on. That's how confident they are, though.
The referee wants this restarted because we've still got some of the Saints staff on the pitch. But here we go now, this time with Matty Staunton picking up the first tackle. Good weights, plenty of players away to his left-hand side here. And he goes out towards Lino. A long pass and a touch on there. The hands of Jake Truman. And it came at him like a bullet, to be fair.
Well, look, they rolled the dice, didn't it? It didn't quite come off for them when they made the mistake. 2 points in front of Mason Lino to Truman. Can't quite catch that ball. But you level up the game at 2 apiece. You're not chasing the game. You can just get back into your rhythm at the minute, like they're chasing points. Even though they're so early on in the season, 67 minutes to go in this game, should I say.
1 win, 1 defeat so far for Trinity. Both of those games ending in 14-12 score lines in favour of the away teams on both occasions, and that win at Headingley in round 1 will be one that lives long in the Trinity fans' memory, I'm sure. Saints coming forward here with Mark Percival on the 30. And then Matty Lees trying to steal a few more metres.
Hold. Go 3.
At the moment, very, very tight stuff.
4.
Wormsley again,
Back and hold.
almost on the halfway line. Darryl Clark brings it back in for Lomax. Quick hands from Sirinen and Percival over the halfway line. But again, the Wakefield defence doing a great job of so far soaking up the pressure. Clark again. Lomax with the high kick. Who's under it this time? And this time it's pushed down for Wakefield. He managed to get hold of it correctly. And Wormsley sets himself up on a run, but runs straight into a blue brick wall.
Local Worms just trying to pinch a few more metres. One thing you can say for Wakefield is they're pretty physical when they're defending. They certainly like mixing it in that middle channel. There's Mike McMeekan.
Playing the ball very quickly as well. As soon as they possibly can. They're wanting to move this ball upfield ASAP as Truman comes away with it up to the 40. This is the last one. And a big high kick from Lino straight into the breadbasket of Wellesby. Wellesby trying to find himself some extra support, but he's gone sideways.
What about Jack Wellesby last week against Casford? 45 carries. I've never seen anyone in a game carry the ball that many times. And obviously the influence that he has, like with his try assists, he's a big part of what Saints do for such a young age.
He is a huge part of the St Helens side.
Well done.
Super League Dream Team fullback last year, in 2023 rather, the 3rd successive season in the 3rd successive position as well. So he's got that bit of versatility. What's happened here?
Yeah, well, Mike McMeekan got caught on the wrong part of the ruck, and the physio's on now to have a look at him. Darryl Clark couldn't pick the ball up cleanly enough.
Have another look at this one.
Look, he's squared, he's come round the back. The referee's more or less saying to Darryl Clark, look, you got to pick the ball up there.
McMeekan clearly in some trouble there. I think he's had a little bit of clash of the heads as he's gone down in that tackle there with Lees, and looks a bit groggy.
You know, they can't afford to lose. Mike McMeekan,
in my opinion, Alex, he has
played 80 minutes last week, 72 minutes the week before.
In my opinion, he has time to go around and pick the ball up. That's my opinion.
Well, he's back up on his feet, which is good news.
He's going to go off for the head though.
Yeah, standard procedure, of course.
Yeah. He's going off, yeah.
And that's the reason why Morgan Knowles is missing for Saints this week, of course.
And it'll be interesting. You look at Wakefield's bench. They have Ollie Russell, who's a 7, been utilised as a hooker. They've got Thomas Doyle, who's normally a 9, utilised as a third team. Jack Rowe
had a great game last week as well against Hillcare.
Did Jack Croft as well, put on some weight and moved from centre into the back row. Only one recognised big forward on the bench, and that's because that man, Mike McMeekin, does big minutes.
Tackle one, play the ball, time on.
Well, we shall keep you up to date as to how McMeekin gets on with his head injury assessment and whether or not he can rejoin the Wakefield Trinity team. He's a big loss.
Well, you look at the big person here in Renato Fatoni, who's onto the field.
Here's another big forward as well, Matty Staunton.
Movement, Johnny! On the air, wait, hold!
Trundling the ball forward as Hood gets it out to Lino and then to Pitts. Quick hands again from the Wakefield players as Van Ganaert goes down in the challenge. Hood behind him. Back out towards this near side for Lino, and a high ball over the top. That's asking too much of Wormsley, who's done well to actually keep possession there. But he's pushed back all the way to the halfway line as the Saints defenders go straight at him.
There was a wild pass, wasn't it? He felt that inside pressure. Mason Lino goes for the corner. Can't quite get the distance. Gets a nice bounce on it though.
Corey Hall involved in the challenge there, and the referee didn't like the look of it. As Kyle Felt goes down in the challenge.
Yeah, just saying it's a high shot. That he could compete for that, Corey Hall. The foot's down, it's a challenge, he goes over the top.
Corey Hall starting this game, having only played half of it last week against Hillcare. He went off with a bit of illness, but looks to have shaken that off nicely.
He set up the winning try at Headingley for Max Stout with a superb flick pass.
I was mightily impressed with him a lot of last season when I saw him on several occasions playing for Castleford.
Stand! One, wait! Go on.
Back again with Wakefield.
Two! Move now, Jay! Hold here, Matty, wait. Hold.
Home side having to do a little bit of defending here now. Saints bringing it forward with Tristan Saylor. I wonder if we'll see any more of Tristan Saylor's incredible footwork like we did at Castleford last week. That little back heel that he came up with was astonishing. Sunderland as well to keep hold of the ball there. Percival, good hands again. Saints pulling out some of the Harlem Globetrotters stuff here as Wellesby then didn't read the right script. Saints, however, have managed to keep hold of it. 30 metres from the Wakefield line. Little touch in for George Delaney, who's come on. This is the last one. Still haven't got a try on the board, and we're into the 19th minute of the game. Wellesby out to Percival. Percival with a backdoor towards Bennison. Bennison over the top. He's managed to do well here. Stirranen can't bring it down. Still chasing after it, Wellesby. Wellesby claims he's got it. The referee surely is going to have another look at this one. And sure enough, with the ball flying around all over the place, the referee has decided that we have to go for another check to the video referee. Let's hear from Marcus Griffiths.
I disagree, I don't think so.
So it's tackle 5. We have an on-field decision of try. So first of all, we're checking touch, and then we're making sure that the ball comes off the foot. So this ball is offloaded, and Bennison is in the field of play at this point. Both feet are still in the field, and he's never on the touchline, still in the field. So what we're going to do is we're going to check the corner camera to make sure he remains in field. So we know the feet are in field, and at the point the ball is released, he is in field. So now we can go back to where the ball comes off. So does the ball come off the hand or the foot? So that's what we're looking at now. So the ball hits the foot at that point. You can clearly see the ball has hit the foot. So we can play on till this point. The ball hit the foot. Now we just need to make sure that the person who grounds the ball is onside at the point that the ball is kicked. So we know the ball hits the foot. Wellesby is behind the kicker at that point. We're now going through to the grounding. So Wellesby gains possession of the ball, and the ball is down. Thank you, I have a decision.
Well, this goes down as a touch. Well, is it magic or is it genius from Curtis Sirenen? Or did he not really know too much about it? I think that's probably the way to look at it. But St Helens have got their first points on the board as far as tries are concerned. Sirenen clearly reaching for the ball with his hands, but my word, a touch of fortune for Jack Welsby then afterwards.
Well, sometimes you've got to ride your luck, haven't you? Curtis Sirenen, size 12s, nearly cost them that try then. And Jack Welsby just pushing up in support, tracking up the middle. And John Bennison did a decent job to get the ball back in field off a clever pass from Mark Percival.
And you've got to credit Jack Welsby, haven't you, for making sure, even though when the ball was rolling forward, it looked as if it was maybe going to roll out, being right place, right position, right time.
Well, always never give up on that bouncing ball until it goes over the white line.
Percival then adds the extras. And all of a sudden, St Helens get themselves a little bit of extra daylight, leading by this point by 8 points to 0.
Well, that's where the damage was done. Mark Percival, he gets the ball, a little flick pass, he gets Walmsley interested, the space out wide then. Like I said, Bennison does a decent job to get the ball back in field. But Curtis Sirenen, I've never seen a set-up play, a set-up piece like this before. He bends down to pick it up himself, he kicks it forward, and well, Jack Welsby's there to finish it off.
I think he meant to do that. He was just fooling us. Just fooling us.
Well, that could have been a high shot, couldn't it? And George Delaney.
The referee has waved play on, much to the annoyance of the home supporters. Saints in possession then.
Yeah.
And here is the man with the magic feet.
No, and I will say as well, watching Liam Rush referee games this year and last, I think he does a tremendous job.
Welsby with a defence-splitting pass, and he's caused one or two issues at the back there for Jowett, who takes it at the second attempt.
Yeah, nowhere to go as well. Jowett, when he looks up, there's no one back in support that he could pass the ball to.
Walmsley then for the home side.
Move together.
Walmsley with his 4 caps for Scotland, a prolific try scorer in 4 seasons at Wakefield, Halifax and Whitehaven, with 27 tries in 32 appearances in his debut season with Wakefield. Lino out to the 40. Hood waiting just behind him. Plays it short for Pitts, and then Vangenaar to the halfway line, and this is the 5th. Hoisted forward. Jake Truman, a high looping ball, and again Welsby safe as houses at the back.
This will Wakefield need to build some pressure.
They could do with a little bit of goal line pressure, really, couldn't they? At this stage, they've had plenty of industry. But do you wonder whether Darryl Powell will be a little bit annoyed at some of the wild passes that have maybe gone a little bit too far here and there?
You know, some of the wild passes that you say, it's only because of strong defence from Saints, where they feel that pressure on the inside and they're throwing it because they're just sensing someone's going to hit them hard.
Good to see Darryl Powell back in Super League as well as a head coach, having had a lot of success at various clubs, particularly at Castleford. But after that spell at Warrington, Terry, do you think he will have felt like he had unfinished business in Super League?
Quality coach, did a tremendous job at Featherstone. Started his career at Leeds, it wasn't to be. Went to Featherstone, Castleford, where he made a real name for himself. Got them to the grand final in 2017, but it wasn't to be.
Joe, you're not there, Joe.
Wakefield then coming forward with Tom Johnstone, another one of their homegrown players, back in a white shirt for Trinity.
Play the ball. Go
Hood again, who's covered an awful lot of ground in these opening stages of the game before it comes to the halfway line. Tony it was, says Truman. Vangenaar again. Corey Hall just waiting behind him, but Hood will pick it up from dummy half. To Lino once more. Another high kick. Wellesby's underneath this one, but quickly getting the attention. Jowett going chasing after him as well, but he skips away. Only as far, though, as Matty Staunton.
Yeah, does a decent job. He gets this ball in, manages to evade a couple of Wakefield players.
Staunton and Hamlin-Welly hunting in a pack at the moment, the two of them.
Yeah, Wakefield need to rush really hard and press hard and hitting numbers slow this ruck now. Take the game, the speed of the game away from St Helens. It'll help you when you're trying to control the likes of Matty Lees.
4, up now, Jenkins Square.
And Saints making another substitution, and it just gives you an idea of the depth of the quality that they've got when they bring on a player like James Bell.
Yeah, James Bell, ball playing, loose forward, plays it tough as well, highly skilled.
Matt Whitley, Agdacious Parsi and George Delaney also on the bench this afternoon.
Not a bad bench, that is it. Not a bad bench at all.
Strong bench. John Scott.
Move now! Find space, Tom!
Being just shoved back a little bit here. Corey Hall.
2!
Can't
Mark, Johnny!
squirm away from the Saints defenders.
Hold, go to James Bell, not square!
Auckland Walmsley
3! Move, Johnny!
to the 40.
Hold. Stand up!
Hood again. Brings it inside. They go on the right flank this time, and almost through was Matty Staunton before Walmsley again. Dancing to the left line, a little skip there from Max Jowett, and that was almost a...
Yeah, it needed to go.
Stand.
It needed to go then from Jowett. Not easier said than done. They certainly had numbers over on the left then.
5!
A Tony.
Straight out, Curtis! Find space!
And they're inside Saints territory now before Truman launches this one. Another high ball.
Surrender!
Saints underneath it. Truman, what do you think, Terry? He's got a little bit to prove after what was a pretty unpleasant time for him in recent years. Wakefield, though, in possession back again here. And Truman it is. Truman to the line. Being held up just short. Wakefield now with an opportunity for real pressure. Trying to push through. Have they got the ball down? It looks like they have. And Wakefield here look like they have struck back. Midway through the first half, after all that pressure that they had managed to push through again and again. And Wakefield looked like they had got ball through with Isaiah Vanganar. And Wakefield back in the game.
You know, he's some size, isn't he, Vanganar? I think he goes over the top of Harry Robertson, just hits the ball nice and tight and hard off the ruck. He's been picking out Tristan Saylor every time he's had a carry, and the ball's been shifted to his side. He's a big towering man. He's got some pedigree. And his dad, Big Joe Wagner, still have nightmares about him, Fraser. What a player he was. But just some good defence, some strong defence from them. And Harry Robertson, he makes the mistake. They get the ball. They go, when you think Max Jowett's going to sneak over, he just positions himself. Wagner over on the left-hand side, has a little look up around the ruck area. And the young number 26, Harry Robertson, he's just hit hard. It's a one-on-one. He spins out of that tackle and gets over the line. No, it doesn't look much, but it's a big play for them. They needed some points. The amount of times they've been down there, they had an opportunity to go for 2 points. They didn't take it. They were chasing points. They were 8-0 down. But there's some belief in this Wakefield side.
You just felt that sooner or later something would happen along those lines. They kept putting the pressure on. They kept pushing.
Do you know what they're doing a decent job of? Every time the ball goes up, the kick chase is really good. They're not giving the man much space, you know, to do what he wants. And a big kick here now from Jowett.
Max Jowett then with the chance to bring his side within 2 points, almost from the touchline, and it's good. Great stuff from Max Jowett. That's his 4th goal of the season, from a very, very difficult angle. But Wakefield back in the game.
Yeah, well, it's just too hard for Robertson to stop the big man on the line. When you stood there, you defend on your heels. It's very difficult to stop someone who's probably nearly 6 inches, 7 inches bigger than you, but carrying an extra 20 kilos.
So 2 points in it with 12 minutes remaining in the first half. And as I said, we thought this game would be tight, and that is certainly proving to be the case. And every game they've played so far is a narrow defeat last week against Hull KR. But they are all in, Wakefield Trinity, as they are here, and they've got the ball back again.
You know, there's just some hunger. Went off for Tony, then wouldn't go down, refused to go down, still pumping his legs forward. The extra effort, the little bit of the messing around at the ruck, and they'll gain a valuable 20 metres here from this kick. And a big plus for them is Mike McMeekan's back on the pitch.
Yeah.
Wants to pass this HIA.
He has indeed. I've just had the word through that is the case. So McMeekan is going to be rejoining the Wakefield forward line. Here's the try scorer, Vanganar.
Move James Bell! All the way, Darryl. Mark.
Yeah, he's down a course, particularly for Bradford.
Mark, you're off!
Gave many a player such as yourself the heebie-jeebies, didn't he?
Oh, it was horrible. In a nice way. In a nice way.
Wakefield then, with their tails up here as Hood fires it down the line for Jowett, over the top of the chance here, and couldn't quite get hold of it, and they may turn this back into attack here. St Helens, Robertson, can he go all the way down into the corner? There's nobody going to catch him, Harry Robertson, and Robertson turning defence into attack, taking the opportunity on a plate, and all of a sudden, after Wakefield thought they'd got themselves back in, all of a sudden St Helens hit back again.
But you know what's good about that? It was that young man that, not saying let the try in, but was involved in the tackle that led to Wagner scoring. They don't sulk about it. He just gets on with his job. Brilliant play. Another one of those youngsters who's got a bright future. Johnston just can't quite take it, and Harry Robertson, well, he's not waiting around, is he? And that's just Saints at the best. The transition from defence to attack. Pick up any scraps that you can get. And you don't often see mistakes from Tom Johnstone. And he breaks free, a couple of tackles, fixes his head guard, and then the race is on to try and stop him. Mike McMeekan and Warren to just make it difficult for the kicker, Mark Percival. But a big moment for that young man.
Just 19 years of age, Harry Robertson, and certainly one of the game's most exciting prospects. Looking for him to really kick on in 2025's. Tried doubles in the opening 2 rounds. That's now his 5th try of the season. And I know that the Saints backroom staff expect big things of him this year. Percival then, from a very tight angle over in the corner, to try and put his side in a bit more of a comfortable position. And what a time to hit back and get another try, Terry, after Wakefield had just felt like they got themselves back in.
That's what Saints do best, when you think you're on the front foot and you've got all that field position you want. You're giving it to your star man on the wing in Tom Johnstone. He makes the error, and then the young man picks it up in Harry Robertson and just goes 60 metres to score the try.
Percival then just steadies himself. Of concentration as the home fans turn up the volume. Oh, this time he hits the woodwork.
Yeah, just 6 points in it now, just a converted try. That's all it is. And that man, Harry Robertson, eventful couple of minutes for him. Although as soon as he gets this ball, there's no panic in the young man. He's just aware of what's around him, who's chasing him down. If there's anybody in support that he's a better option for him, well, he certainly backs himself.
So, Saints receiving possession. And a big push back there.
Hold it, William. Hold.
It's Delaney it was who went down in that one.
2, move. Back, wait.
8 minutes remaining in the first half. Saints leading by 12 points to 6.
3, move together.
Against Wakefield Trinity. And St Helens trying to find themselves some extra yards here. James Bell.
I said it before, I said it again. The firing in here. Wakefield, they're not sitting back at all, feeling sorry for themselves.
No.
Cutting down the thinking time for the likes of Darryl Clark.
5! Straight on, Mike!
Clark to the 40-metre line then.
Wait! Go 5, you move forward,
Sailor sending it out
Right
for
side.
Wellesby. And 2 players jumping after this one, and I could see that coming a mile off. Lachlan Walmsley and Max Jowett colliding. Neither of them took their eye off the ball. That could have been a really serious incident.
Yeah, well, that's where communication is key. Max Jowett, he sprints forward to get that. Walmsley's going, looking over his shoulder to catch that ball.
You would have expected one of the players to try and put a name on it, but it is very noisy here at this ground, as you would expect, so not unusual if that call gets lost. And speaking of lost, Wakefield have lost possession.
Yeah, with a couple of mistakes in the last 5 minutes for Tom Johnstone. Normally very safe, one of the most experienced players in a Wakefield jersey.
He's lost possession in the tackle there.
There was a bit of a push on the...
There was a hand in, was
there
there?
was a push on the ball from George Delaney. You can see he comes over the top. He's close, and all of a sudden, you'll see as he gets up, his left hand just pushes it.
Well, Wakefield so far
Heads in, Max, head in. Shot clock off, miss and head in.
are still sticking to their guns. It's Sailor right towards the right-hand side. Carl Felt
Straight out,
stealing an extra couple of yards.
Wait.
Sailor waits behind him. Everybody down the left side. Darryl Clark, quick hands again. And towards Delaney.
Move. Back and hold, wait. 6 again.
Clark
Too
behind him,
slow.
goes to the right-hand side this time. Sailor with quick hands to Wellesby, over to the corner, looking once more for Robertson. Robertson couldn't quite manage it. Wellesby going from the short side. He's held up. The Wakefield players wise to that possibility. They go long this time though, St Helens, Sailor and Lomax. And now Delaney again. Delaney, another battering ram of a player that can work his way through the middle. Clark, Lomax, waiting for Sirenen. Sirenen gets another little bit of extra closer to the line. They're knocking on the door here. Little grubber kick through from Lomax. Wakefield through Max Jowett. Push it out.
Nice measured kick, wasn't it? From behind the dummy half. Excellent play from Johnny Lomax. Just steps in. You can see it, Jack Wellesby pushing up into that next hole, just getting outside of Liam Hood. That's where he thought the kick was going. And Wakefield not taking any chances, and they're under the pump here now. Just 5 minutes to go, or just under 5 minutes to go before they can get a breather for 10 minutes.
Wakefield under pressure then, with 4.5 minutes remaining in this first half, but there's still only one converted score in it. St Helens, however, wanting to apply the pressure and turn the screw just before the half-time break. Sailor into Bell. Bell turning and twisting up towards the 10-metre line. Tony is in there. They do eventually bring him down through McMeekin, but Clark goes to his right. Ignatius Parthy just short of the line again. We've got tackles in the bank as well, as it turns through towards Bell again. Down the right-hand side for Lomax, looking for Sailor, but white shirts in front of him, still going though. Sailor almost found a gap. Eventually the Wakefield defenders wrap him up. Quickly from Robertson and Clark, and now Lomax. And Percival picking up the loose ball. Percival with a bit of space, handing off the player, going for the line mark. Percival just short. Just short. And the Wakefield defenders again willfully get hold of the ball here as it kicks straight into their hands. Well,
Curtis knocks on it.
Wakefield decided to give here.
Wakefield to get the ball back to one-on-one steal. Curtis Sirenen involved, but he knocks the ball forward. Some strong defence, wasn't it, from Walmsley and Jowett, preventing Mark Percival up. They go in, it's a one-on-one steal. Sirenen gets it, ball goes forward. I'm going to give a big rap for the number 4, Corey Hall. Over on the left-hand side when Saints were having a crack and they were looking up, he didn't panic at all. It would have been so easy for him to try and solve the problems themselves and pull that trigger and jam in, which then would have left an overlap out wide over on the left for Tom Johnson to try and deal with. Great defence from that young man. And like we said before, communication is absolute key when you're defending.
Okay, shot clock off, ball.
Wakefield down with a chance to just ease a little bit of the pressure. Here is Corey Hall.
Move, Tristan! Hold here, hold
I believe it when I was looking in the stats that he's played for 6 clubs, Corey Hall, during his career so far, even at the age of just 22.
Move together!
But hoping to re-establish himself as a Wakefield player now. And he'll no doubt get the opportunity.
3, move, Curtis! Hold here, wait, stand up. Go 3.
Banganar it was who was tackled there.
Offload. 4!
Thomas Doyle.
Move together! Back.
Who's come on late in this first half.
Okay.
Lino. Backhands again.
5! Move, Johnny!
Nicely picked up by Oliver Pratt. He hasn't seen an awful lot of the ball so far in this game. Lino. It's a high tester. St Helens, of course, are up to it.
Move, Jake!
Plenty of players down at the back there that can keep hold of the ball.
2! Move the ball, Corey!
Probably last set 6 that they've got to contend with here. Wakefield, and there's a penalty. Strong carry from Batchelor.
There's a few too many mistakes cropping up into the Wakefield play here.
Well, that's where they get to the half-time. They'll get the words of wisdom from Darryl Powell and get a bit of composure back into the game and start the second half off with some intent.
Minute to go before we hear the hooter. Lomax finding Passy.
Move! Back and hold.
On the 40. Clark for Lomax. Wellesby for Percival. Good tackle again from Matty Staunton. Clark waits. Finds Wellesby. Wellesby very quickly into Bell.
Move, Liam Ord!
20 from the line. Clark again. Lomax to hold on to the pass there for a moment or two, with Passy waiting. But Clark now goes for himself in towards Lomax. Lomax with a grubber kick through again, and it looked like a player might have been bundled off the ball, running after it there.
They'll check it if there's any obstruction.
Marcus.
The referee's going to have another look at this one, and he's going once again to the video referee, Marcus Griffiths.
Just check the merits of a penalty try.
So it's tackle forward, got an on-field decision of no try. We're checking for the merits of a penalty try, so we'll pause it on the foot first.
What's mine?
So the ball is on the foot at that point, and everybody to the left is onside.
I'm on ball.
No one's got to cover that man if he passes.
Mike, don't stand there screaming at me, Mike. He's making a decision on the video.
The Wakefield player, Staunton, has moved across the line of the St Helens chaser. However, due to the other 2 players in proximity, it won't be a penalty try, professional foul. It will just be a escort. I have a decision.
Yeah, thank you, mate. That was my live call.
So this won't be a try. It will, however, be a penalty.
Yeah.
Players being escorted.
Okay, fine.
But it looked like there was a challenge there, obviously going through, and that's what the penalty is going to be given for. But St Helens, well, I suspect with seconds left on the clock here, what, 6 seconds? They've got to go for the 2 here, haven't they?
Penalty in front of the sticks.
Well, James Bell, isn't it? Again, just pushing up, offering himself as an option.
Let's go. Matty Staunton.
Right on the bell,
there goes the hooter.
2 points yet.
Lads, what do you want to do?
Sure enough, the kicking tee is being brought on.
What are we doing?
And this is a chance to just add a little bit of what we like to call scoreboard pressure with just seconds remaining.
You can just see the stop comes across and just dips his shoulder, it goes straight into belt.
I think you go in when the ball's on the floor as opposed to on the foot. You go in when it's on the floor, you need to wait for the floor. I'll always call go as well, so from here you'll hear that as well. All right, I'll keep talking to you though,
ref or the video referee any option really.
In my opinion, because the players in close proximity of the ball, in our opinion, it's not a professional foul. They get to the ball pretty quick, but he does run him off the ball and shunt him.
Yeah,
right.
So Mark Percival then right in front of the sticks. This will be the last act of the first half in order to add an extra couple of points and just put that little bit more breathing space in between the two sides. Two from three so far for Mark Percival. Hit the woodwork on the last occasion, of course, right from the corner. This one far, far easier. And sure enough, the flags go up. 3 from 4 for Mark Percival. The referee ushers the players off the fields, and St Helens have themselves that little bit of an extra margin. And Terry, despite a lot of pressure from Wakefield, it's the visitors who are going in there happier at half-time.
Yeah, well, Saints have took the chance, haven't they? You said it in commentary, Wakefield have made a couple of errors and not really helped themselves in that opening 40 minutes. They did get on the board, though, and that's the big thing for them. Wagner goes in, scores the try, but they still find themselves at half-time 8 points behind.
Plenty more to come, of course, from this second half. So far, though, it's St Helens who are leading here by 14 points to 6. Tries from Wellesby and Robertson in response to the one from Vanganar. Mark Percival has scored 3 from 4, and it's St Helens who lead at the break. We'll be back very, very soon. Welcome back. Half-time here at the DIY Kitchen Stadium. It's been tight, it's been nip and tuck all the way, but St Helens leading at half-time by 14 points to 6. This the first game of 2 this evening, of course, on what is going to be a momentous occasion for the sport of rugby league.
Well, round 3 of the Betfred Super League is upon us already. 5 live games coming up for you on Sky Sports from over there. One very special day coming up from over here. We're on the Strip in Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world, and home on Saturday for a rugby league extravaganza. 4 live matches for you on Sky Sports. 2 from the NRL competition, of course, a women's international game, and then a massive clash from the Super League as the reigning champions, the Wigan Warriors, take on Sam Burgess's Warrington Wolves. You will not miss a minute of this extravaganza action with us on Sky Sports. Make sure you can join us from 8:30 p.m. on Saturday.
We are very, very much looking forward to that one tonight, as Brian says, from 8:30, and the fun and games that the players and the fans have been having over there look absolutely sensational. What a great opportunity for the sport of rugby league to really showcase what it can do on such an incredible stage. Part of round 3, of course, which began on Thursday night, Hull KR beating Salford by 42 points to 0. Aidan Caesar getting a late drop goal as Hull FC managed an 11 points to 10 win at Huddersfield. Lee made it 3 from 3 with their win over Catalan Dragons. Here, of course, at the DIY Kitchen Stadium, St Helens leading by 14 points to 6. Don't forget, set your alarm tonight, 8:30, Viva Las Vegas, as Wigan take on Warrington, and we finish tomorrow with the West Yorkshire Derby as Leeds take on Castleford. St Helens then very much in the ascendancy at this moment, but it has been pretty tight, Terry, and they have had a strong game plan all the way through. Wakefield, however, haven't given an inch.
No, and you look at Saints, the opening 2 rounds, they've scored plenty of points. They knew that they'd come in and points were going to be hard to find early on. They could receive the penalty, they go for 2 points. And you think when you look at Saints and they just attack, they get a bit of luck here. With Curtis Sirren gets his size 12s onto this ball, hacks it forward. And Jack Wellesby just pushes up, scores the opening try for Saints. Whenever Saints get down near their opponent's line, they're always having a crack. They're always having a real dig into the line. John Bennison gives a Hail Mary pass. And at that point, you thought that the ball was going to go dead. And Jack Welsby just shows his hunger, his desire to get there and just get the bouncing ball just before it goes over the dead ball line. The opening try for Saints, and that's what it means to them. And then you look at Harry Robertson, he makes a mistake. Some strong defence from Welly and Wagner. And it is Wagner that goes over for the try. It's a one-on-one. And the big man Robertson just couldn't contain him. What I liked about this part of the play, though, he'd been involved in the tackle, made the mistake, let the try in, then on the back of that, he's first to pick the scraps up. And that's what you get with youngsters. They don't sulk about anything, they just get on with what's in front of them, get on with the game. And young Harry Robertson, like you said in commentary, scores his 5th try in just 3 games. Incredible, certainly knows his way to the try line. Tom Johnston, one of the most experienced players in a Wakefield jersey, he makes the mistake, it just opens up for him. And he goes in to score. And then again, just at the end, you can see James Belly just get nudged off the ball. It goes upstairs, the video referee says it's a penalty, and again the respect shown from Saints, just take the 2 points.
St Helens then with 2 tries and 3 goals from Mark Percival, leading against the try from Isaiah Wangenaar and Max Jowitt's conversion. 14 points to 6 here at half-time in front of this huge crowd here at Wakefield Trinity, but there is a lot more to come from this game, and I'm sure many more tries and many more points. Join us again in just a few minutes' time for the start of the second half. Welcome back. Second half action about to get underway here. So Wakefield are trailing St Helens by 14 points to 6 at the break. It's been a very, very tight game, probably tighter than the scoreline would suggest. But you do get the sense that there is an awful lot more life in this game as far as Wakefield are concerned. If they can tighten up 1 or 2 of those loose passes that have gone astray here and there, certainly defensively, Terry, they have really been at the races this afternoon.
Yeah, they'll certainly fancy themselves in this game. 8 points behind, it's nothing for the side coached by Darryl Powell. If they can get enough opportunities down their Saints' line with the likes of Jake Truman, Mason Lino, and the ever-impressive Max Jowitt pulling the strings, it'll certainly cause some problems.
Jowitt, who recently signed a new 2-year contract with the option of a 3rd, so he certainly sees his future here at Wakefield Trinity. He gets us underway for the second half and straight away into the arms of Johnny Lomax, who is playing his 17th season as a professional at St Helens. Over 350 appearances for that man with the ball in hand. What a servant he has been to that club and to rugby league.
Do you know, he's absolutely outstanding. Had his injuries early on in his career, but what a player, what a brain he has got.
Classy going down in the challenge as Clark waits away to his right-hand side. James Bell now, part of that very, very strong bench that we were talking about. And the Saints hierarchy having strengthened not only as far as the playing roster is concerned, but the backroom staff as well. The job that Paul Wellens has done to get an extra couple of really experienced figures in along with him seems to be bearing fruit so far as Saylor knocks this one forward in towards the hands of Jowitt. How do you think things are settling now as far as the backroom staff are concerned for Saints?
Yeah, he's got some good ex-players in there, hasn't he, in the likes of Eamon O'Carroll. Spent some time in the South France at Catalan. Lee Braze, who's been over the other side of the world, and like the brains that you've got from Lee Braze and the rugby ability from Eamon O'Carroll, a very good coach if you talk to anyone around the tracks that have come in contact with him. He certainly knows how to coach a side. Did a decent job at Bradford.
Staunton went down in the challenge there. Walmsley, who was lucky not to get a real clattering against Jowett when the two of them went for the same ball just before half-time.
That's nice kick selection from Jake Truman, isn't it? Just splitting the winger and the full-back. You can see Jack Wellsby just trying to get in between Wagner and Cordy Hall. The big thing for Wakefield is not to push the pass and not to panic now. Just 8 points behind. Just when you say feel the way into the game, don't just panic every time you got the ball thinking that you've got to score a try.
Sailor down under the challenge as Clark waits, goes to Bell to his left-hand side and straight in for an early ball for Wingfield. Clark again. Delaney it was in actual fact. It's past short for Lomax. Wellsby with the quick hands again. There's Percival being pushed back here a long way. And it's, as you say, that Wakefield defence not giving an inch. Well drilled this side by Darryl Powell, pretty much what you'd expect from him. Chilwell being shoved back here again. Players coming back to help out the back. Lino is one of them. Walmsley.
Well, Fraser, I'm sure that the Wakefield side would have taught them the changing rooms at half-time about the tries that they conceded. One of them was from a kick forward from Curtis Seaman with Jack Wellsby. The other one was from a mistake, a breakaway. So they've not really been split. They've not been brought down, conceding some points. And they've really matched Saints blow for blow.
Yeah, it's been tight. And as mentioned, Wakefield do look like they'll be a considerable force this season. Thanks in part to players like this, Isaiah Vangenaert. So Hood gets it away, and then Lino again straight down the middle of the field. Easy handoff for Wellsby. Denison in the challenge. As Sailor goes short for Robertson.
And when they get into a better field position, because they're kicking from deep within their own half, if they can get closer to the line, my words, like Jake Truman, Mason Lino, but just stick it into the corner and challenge Saints to come out. It's always more difficult bringing the ball away from your own line in the corner than centre field.
I was going to ask you before the try that Wakefield got, where Truman was involved. What an opportunity he's got to get here at Wakefield to try and really get his career back on track in many ways.
Yeah, he's had a couple of bad injuries, hasn't he? He made his debut back in 2017 at Castleford against St Helens, and a quality player. Hull spent big getting him over there. It didn't quite work out, but now got an opportunity over there at Wakefield.
Wellsby with a short kick straight into the hands of Lino. So the ball turned over not far from the halfway line, and Jowett running at defenders. Walmsley almost to the halfway line. Delaney involved in the tackle, and then it's another mistake there.
Well, again, he come in field, didn't he, Lachlan Walmsley? Did all the hard work. Gets up, wins that collision. You're thinking, right, let's go. They've got to win here. They go forward. Darryl Clark really good, but both of the defenders couldn't quite get squirt. And there's a bit of a nudge from Darryl Clark. That's what he's saying that he's not happy with. When Darryl Clark, the number 9, is trying to reposition himself, he just nudges into him, knocks his arm that's on the ground. And that's what Lachlan Walms is a bit frustrated with, and the coach, obviously, Darryl Powell. But the amount of times that they've made mistakes in their own half, bringing the ball away, well, that certainly helps any attacking side.
A bit of cleverness as well from Darryl Clark, showing all his experience there. As Benison is being shoved back, and Sailor involved in the tackle. Clark away to Parsi, waiting for some support, but gets wrapped up by 3 in white shirts. Clark helping him out now, though, organising his troops. Goes to the right flank for Sailor, back inside for Bell, who loses it this time. And Wakefield regain possession.
Well, you could see that was the side that the ball was going to go. Tristan Sale on the inside to Bell, make the error. They get a penalty. Well, this will certainly help them. Something that they've been hoping for.
Johnny Lomax not happy with that decision, and he's gone over to have a word with the referee. Lomax was lifting a little bit in the tackle there early on. Either way, Wakefield get the opportunity to take a bit more pressure off themselves.
Come on, mate,
as Mason Lino's kick brings them inside St Helens territory, and Corey Hall wants to take it quickly, bouncing off one defender as Harry Robertson got a real whack there. Truman now back out into the middle for Vangenaar, and Vangenaar with his back to goal pushing his way forward again. Hood into the middle for a Tony, and Mason Lino now. Might be a touch of a forward pass about that, but the referee didn't see it for Matty Staunton as it went into his hands. Pitts with the touch to McMeekin. Back on after surviving that head injury assessment from the first half where he took a big whack. Pitts plays it off quickly. Back again. Once more with Vangenaar. Hood. Touch forward, lovely little grubber kick in through the middle from a Tony, and they've managed to keep the ball in the back line here, and they'll get it once back again.
I'm smiling. I'm thinking he messed up there on the last play. They give the ball to a Tony, probably the biggest man on the pitch, along with Alex Walmsley.
A bad little grubber kick.
He drops it on his boot. He drops it on his boot, thinking, why have I got this ball on the last tackle? Well, and it turns out well for them, doesn't it?
Reminiscent of Curtis Sirison in the first half. I think he was grabbing for the ball and it came off the end of his toe. But maybe a little bit of luck going Wakefield's way now, as they get it back just on the halfway line. And Lino had 2 grabs at it before handing it off to McMeekin.
George! Back, hold, go on.
Yeah, big forwards trying to punt the ball. It's not happening, is it? Let's be fair. Tony. Twinkle toes. There's Lino now. Very quick from Truman. Staunton. Still not brought down. It takes a good while to bring a big man down. Hood going himself though for Lino. Lino drew the pass there. Going for the line here. Mason Lino very, very close. Hood waits behind him. Wakefield white shirts lining up away to his left-hand side. They bring it down the line. Quick from Truman. Very quick from Truman. Touch on for Corey Hall now. Hall has lost the ball now under pressure from Robertson. Very, very close Wakefield to getting back on the scoreline.
And you could see him just setting up from over on the right-hand side. A decent attacking shape. Corey Hall just tries to get the ball in one hand. You can see he's trying to hold off the defender in Robertson. And like I said, round 1 set up a brilliant try for Max Jowett, which went on and won them the first game against Leeds Rhinos.
Having a heck of a game, Harry Robertson, so far.
10 seconds!
Involved in the first Wakefield try, making the mistake, then plucking the ball from a Wakefield mistake to run 60 metres for a try. And now involved again in a try-saver. St Helens, though, have it on their own 10. Clark waiting for the ball back from Posse.
2, move Matty! All the way, Liam. Go 2, well done.
Saints coming forward in big numbers now.
3, move now, Mike!
Smashing through the middle.
Wait! Go 3.
With Sirinen. And so Wellesby with a touch and a lift up there, just a little bit from Jay Pitts.
He's getting plenty of touches, isn't he, George Delaney?
Okay, clear.
Sailor, quick balls, quick hands to the ball again from Saints.
Go 5.
Clark, Sailor with a high ball.
Offside right, give 10.
Under pressure, Max Jowett spills it, but it goes backwards. He's very, very fortunate there.
Yeah, again, you don't normally associate making a mistake at the back. Max Jowett won in the first half. That one was a bit of a wobble, although he does manage to regather the ball.
2, move now, Curtis back, wait. Go 2. Matty, hands out, come on.
St Helens now having to do a little bit of defending, but still deep within Wakefield territory. Saints winning their first 2 games this season by a combined margin of 122 points. But then, of course, that was partly due to that very strange game against Salford in the opening round, which was more like a pre-season friendly, really.
40. Jay, Mike.
Wakefield have had it a little bit tougher.
Good now, play on.
As Benison brings it back for St Helens.
And Saints have been defensively in all those 3 games and pretty good. Conceded just 6 points in the first couple of games, and now only 6 points here.
2. Move now, Mike.
Break in the middle from Percival. Wellesby's come up from the back line, and now Saylor to the halfway line.
Go 3.
Clark short for Wellesby.
Well, the speed's
Page one tackle and then gets through another.
And Saylor and Wellesby getting hold of the ball. They're just sensing something in the middle of the park for Wakefield. Maybe a couple of tired, big blokes.
Another big run from Delaney. Happy to crash the ball and run through defenders if he possibly can. Wellesby again goes for the corner this time, putting Jowett under more pressure.
Surrender. Stand. Go on.
He comes up with the ball, then he needed to get down low as well.
2.
Because he could feel Saints just pressuring him, coming up. And again, some real tough carries now. Saints seem to have upped the ante a bit in the last couple of minutes.
Joe not there. Good now. 4.
I'm going to push back a little bit here, though. St Helens.
Go for.
Oliver Russell, who's come onto the pitch. It's a lovely ball out the back there. And it could be away here through Truman. Truman needs some support, though. Quickly joined by teammates as Lino. Wide to the right-hand side, and nicely pass off for Atoni. Ball's come back, and it's loose again, though. St Helens will get it back once more.
Yeah, you know, in the last play, though, they chanced around. They went over to the right-hand side. They thought that they had them for numbers. Saints scrambled back and managed to stop that play unfolding.
Move away.
That's when their backs against the wall. St Helens are often at their best. Oh, lovely handoff there from Kyle Felt. Whack in the mush. As Robertson comes away with it now. He's almost like a gazelle, Harry Robertson, when he stretches those long legs of his through the middle. Wellesby. Then over on the right-hand side here. This is the last tackle, though. Clark goes for it to Saylor. Saylor's high kick. Everyone chasing after it in a blue shirt. Robertson gets his hands on it. Still on the 5th, though. And Wakefield, well, Wakefield again just chancing their arm whenever they possibly can. The ball will be handed over anyhow.
Yeah, Wakefield get the ball. There was a knock-on from Robertson, so they managed to get the ball back. But Robertson is causing some problems, isn't he? Makes the mistake there, and then Atoni couldn't get the ball back.
Corey Hall.
Straight out, George.
For Wakefield.
Back again. Hold. Go on.
There seems like a big difference at the minute between the speed at which Saints are playing the ball compared to where Wakefield are, but that maybe because where Wakefield are actually territory-wise in their own half. It's easier to be a defender where you can get numbers in. Look at that, 4 players in, which means that no matter how big or powerful you are, it's a slow play the ball that's going to be coming.
Now spending a lot of time in their own half in this first 15.5 minutes.
Movement, Curtis.
The second half of this game. Russell backing through to the middle. Missing Lino. Up in the challenge again.
Stand 5.
Good work once more. Batchelor hoisted forward once again. Wellesby right underneath it. Safe as houses. In the battle of the fullbacks, it's probably fair to say so far that Jack Wellesby has been well on top.
Yeah, he's been very good. Jack Wellesby. There he goes, on the side of penalty. And the referee, Liam Rush, just saying far too slow in the ruck area. Wakefield desperate to slow them down and just make sure that they can set their defence and get off the line.
The way the game's gone so far, Terry, probably fair to say that in many respects Wakefield have been the architects of their own undoing at times.
Some of the penalties they go away, and also with some of the errors that they've had, particularly in their own half. But again, what I would say about them is you look at the tries that they conceded. They've not really been brought down.
Move together, Max, back.
Let's have a look at what's coming up as far as these two sides are concerned. St Helens facing Hull KR, Leeds in the Challenge Cup. They're away here though, St Helens. They are away here, St Helens underneath the posts. And it's an easy score in the end for Darrell Clark. Given a little bit of space, given a little bit of time, he said thank you very much, and he was racing away under the posts. The referee wants to make sure, and once again we will go to the video ref, Marcus Griffiths.
So it's tackle 2, we're looking at grounding, so Clark is in possession at this point. We lose the ball there, so we'll go to the other camera angle in the corner. So this should show us more. So the ball is in Clark's right hand. The ball looks to remain in Clark's hand. And then the ball looks to be on the line. Let's just see if we've got any other angles that show us anything more. Oh, that could show us something. So we'll go back through the angles. And then we'll go to 9 again, just to confirm. So the ball is in his arm at this point. Ball is in the hand. And then we lose the ball. So just to confirm, and the ball is down. Thank you, I have a decision.
And so we go to the big screen for confirmation that Darrell Clark has grounded the ball successfully. And that is 100 career tries for Darrell Clark in what has been a pretty outstanding career. The former Steve Prescott Man of Steel, of course, and really getting a second lease of life in many ways here at St Helens.
Well, made a name for himself, didn't he, down the road at Castleford for his big move to Warrington, and then move a few miles down the road to Saints, a quality player, like you said, former Man of Steel, Darrell Clark. Electric from dummy half, takes the right options with the ball, and there you could see him as well, just backing up, showing support. And Percival just knocks over the two.
So Mark Percival and Darrell Clark are edging St Helens closer and closer to a win as they push themselves further and further away from Wakefield Trinity. And a nice bit of taking an opportunity there from Darrell Clark.
Well, that's it, just getting off the back of someone who can get their arms free and pass the ball. Tristan Taylor, we talked about it 10 minutes ago, where the speedsters now for Saints are starting to get in and run the ball around the middle of the field on the back of some hard carries like this from George Delaney. He has got absolutely no respect for his own body, that young man.
I was going to say, he has got to be one of the most willing ball runners
I love him.
we've seen in this game. He doesn't care. He knows he's going to get clattered every time.
I say it all the time. I love these old style, old school prop forwards like Alex Walmsley. We've seen prop forwards over the years been like, you've got to be able to pass the ball. Well, I'd like me prop forwards be laying a platform like that, proper old school, run to the ball and earn the right to play.
I've got to say, when you've got a role model like Alex Walmsley to look up to, then it's no wonder that Delaney runs the ball the way that he does. Wakefield, though, trying to find a way back into this game as we just come up towards the hour mark. 14 points, St Helens are ahead by. But still plenty of life left in this Wakefield side, I'm sure.
Well, they're just coming up to the final quarter now, and they find themselves behind by 14 points. And sometimes that shows you how important by just taking the 2 points and just knocking over them penalties, because it puts doubt in the opposition's mind. Wakefield know that they've got to score 3 times now at least.
Wakefield, of course, put the pressure on last week against Hull KR, and Max Jowett had the opportunity to try and level the scores right at the end of the game, but he was unsuccessful on that particular occasion. St Helens, of course, will play Hull KR next, and just interestingly, a line coming out of the Robins that Mikey Lewis's ankle injury is a syndesmotic injury, which is a new word for me. Apparently it means that it's a higher up ankle injury, and therefore the prognosis is a lot better than Hull KR feared for the reigning Man of Steel. And he could even be back as early as that game against St Helens next week.
And that'll be a big call. That when you do syndesmosis, like this player's been out for 10 to 12 weeks. And it'll be a big risk if they bring him back and he's not 100% right.
Meantime, St Helens, that of course is for next week for them. They are the side in control in this game midway through this second half. Here's Wellesby, nice little offload there from Tristan Saylor. We haven't seen any fancy footwork from Saylor in this game so far, this time yet.
Well, they did set up the try for Darrell Clark though, didn't he? With his offload, he didn't manage to get through.
He's still keeping the ball alive here, and this will be something that Paul Wellens will be absolutely delighted with, unless it falls into the hands of a Wakefield player here, which it has. Well, first of the commentator, Wakefield have it back now, and a real opportunity for them to push forward with Oliver Pratt.
And the penalty as well, Saints just not getting back the 10. Wakefield not waiting around, they just want to get on with the game. You can see they're all stood in front. You can see the referee waving his hand saying you're not back the 10.
Lino then with the quick touch for Pitts. Shoving his way forward. Trying to sap a bit more energy out of that St Helens defence before eventually going to ground. The Wakefield players say they want it played quicker as they get a little bit closer to the St Helens line. Russell waits for it, goes out to the left-hand side for Truman. Quick hands for Jowett. Jowett will be wrapped up again, 10 metres from the Saints line. They've gone a little bit backwards here, but still a great platform to try and build as Corey Hall gets a long pass out. And it goes now for Emanuele. Truman again. Short back out to the left-hand side. Chance here for Johnstone. He couldn't get his hands on it properly. And the St Helens line survives again.
Well, a brilliant ball, wasn't it? Out wide, looking to set free Tom Johnstone. Just that cut-out ball goes in front of Corey Hall. He just can't quite take it cleanly. Catches that clean in front of him. He scores that try. Tom Johnstone, seen him score some spectacular tries, and one was needed then.
I'll keep action in it. You got to stay quick.
Well, it's just the odd pass here and there that's just been a little bit wayward for Wakefield.
5 seconds!
You just feel that if one or two of them had been better, then they might be even closer. As it stands, the 14-point gap,
if I remember,
still remains.
I think it was last week that Max Jowett threw one of those passes to Tom Johnson. On that occasion, he went in and scored a try, exactly the same shape, the same play. They've got to try and do a number here on Saints now, stop them going forward. Some physical wrestle going on there from Mike McMeekan and Jay Pitts.
You can't take anything away from the effort that these Wakefield players are putting in. Fangan involved in the tackle there. Hamlin Welly as well. 7,600 in here this afternoon, so almost a sellout once again.
He's just been penalised there, can't get out the ruck.
Holding down 2 tackles in a row.
There's another error.
Well, he just gets up, he's straddling the player, just tries to get around, repositioning himself. Tristan Taylor using his footwork.
You were the first one, and then Isaiah the second one.
Some of that will come, though, Terry, surely, as the season goes on, as some of these players get a bit more Super League experience. You can tell how St Helens a lot of the time are using that to their advantage, given some of the players they've got in this squad.
Hold here, wait.
Well, Tristan Taylor, 26 years of age, just 21 appearances in the NRL, but what you have seen of him in the first few rounds is pure class, isn't he? Built differently than his dad. Let me tell you, his dad was a monster.
Wait!
Great Wendell,
play on, move forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wellesby, quick touch.
Three!
Decent run through from Batchelor.
Wait. Go three.
Away they go to the right-hand side. Wellesby trying to find Saylor rather with a chip forward. And Corey Hall has come up with the goods.
Back, wait. Go on. Darryl, you're not there.
To position himself and get hold of that ball.
Two. Straight out, Tristan. Hold.
And the challenge.
Go
Russell
George,
waits,
quicker.
organises his players.
Three. Move, George. Wait. Go three.
Russell again. Quick short ball.
Four. Move,
Good
George.
push
Got it
as
back.
Wakefield have made their way now out to the
Go four.
30-metre line.
Clear.
With a good walk from Hamlin Welly.
Still four.
He's not had any space to move, has he? Ollie Pratt has been well and truly monitored.
Well, he's clearly one of those players that St Helens have seen as a danger man, and rightly so. And they've done a really good job of keeping him very quiet this afternoon, Oliver Pratt.
One. Move, Ollie Pratt. Back.
Saints bringing it back up towards the 40. Mark Percival.
Two. Straight out,
Lino in the tackle.
Hold. Wait.
On with Staunton.
Matt Whitley.
Three. Oh no, Matt.
Onto the field.
Whitley, another one of those big forwards who's happy to run the ball at defenders time and time again. As is Walmsley. Clark in support, finding Wellesby. Here's Delaney. He goes with another one. That was a big hit. Out they come with Saylor. Saylor short to Wellesby. Outwards to the right-hand side. And that looks as though Kyle Felt may have gone over in the corner. A flying finish as St Helens get themselves further and further away from Wakefield Trinity. Try on the field, says the referee. But we'll go for confirmation once again to Marcus Griffiths.
It's tackle 5. We have an on-field decision. Try with looking at touching grounding. So Felt is in possession of the ball here. We'll take it back just a tiny bit more. So he's in the field of play there, in the field of play, 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 in the field of play. He's now tuck off. So we know his feet are in the field of play. We're just going to check that knee to make sure. So the ball is down at that point and the knee is up. Thank you. I have a decision.
Good, Marcus.
Confirmation then as we go to the big screen that Kyle Felt with a flying finish in the corner. I think only his hand was still in play there as he went through the air. But that is a terrific try from one of the Saints' new signings.
Yeah, come over with a big reputation, and then just that one club in Australia, North Queensland, the top try scorer of all time. And he gets an opportunity like this, and he's not going to let it pass, is he? Nice play from Jack Wellesby, delivers the pass to perfection to his wingman, who's just hugging that touchline and manages to get on over the try line under some pressure. But the pass from Wellesby at pace just beats Johnstone.
His third try of the season, Kyle Felt, who seems to be settling into Super League very nicely indeed. And another difficult chance here for Mark Percival, right up against the line. This is as difficult as it gets. Just over the 20. from 5 going into this. Struck it well. Struck it very well indeed. 5 from 6 now for Mark Percival. He's having a superb afternoon with the boots. And St Helens now looking in a very, very commanding position with 12 minutes remaining.
Quality play. Alex Walmsley here. He tries to set the platform. And you know, you watch in this area, you're desperate for a quick play of the ball. It's a pretty slow play of the ball from Alex Walmsley. Shake of the head. But it's George Delaney who runs really strong, powerful, gets rid of players. And this is where it creates the space. Quick play of the ball, gets the ball out. And they've got it. And Jack Wellsby sets the try up for Kyle Felt.
They're in possession here again as well with Robertson. And as we look at how things are shaping up now, Terry, as I say, with just over 10 minutes to go, this looks like it's going to be a third win from 3 for St Helens. What do you make of how they are looking in these early stages of the season?
Saints in the first 2 games weren't really tested, and they were desperate for a test, weren't they? I think they have been tested by a Wakefield side. The scoreline won't reflect that and won't show that, but I just think that the way they've been playing, the second half in particular, like the outside backs have done a tremendous job in Jack Wellsby and Saylor and Lomax. Put Harry Robertson in there as well. Here they go again.
Pushing it through. St Helens with plenty of willing runners, and it's Batchelor who's gone down actually in that tackle.
He's been in the walls in this game, hasn't he?
Time off, it's a natural stoppage anyway. No, you're there.
Well, the start of the game, he had a bit of a stinger in his shoulder. He's got the thumbs up from the physio.
Corey Hall.
Surrender! Stand now,
turning it for Wakefield. Good weights behind him.
Keep it quick, Saints.
Short to Van Ganar, the only try scorer for Wakefield in the game so far.
Oh dear, Darryl Waite.
It'll be a real learning game for Wakefield, this, I think. Certainly in terms of trying to tighten up some of the discipline, some of the errors that Wakefield have been prone to in this game.
Better, Johnny, well done.
McMeekin up to the halfway line. Still going, Mike McMeekin. Actually, a wily old character. It's Lino rather. Finds out towards the right-hand side. The tackle, though, they've taken the ball again, St Helens. Alex Walmsley coming away with it.
Yeah, just tried to offload the ball then. First time it's probably gone out wide to Ollie Pratt. Tries to use his footwork, get on the inside, looks for the offload, can't get it round Matt Whitley. The Saints come up with the ball through Alex Walmsley.
Lino being dragged off the player there by Jack Croft. Rather. As Hood involved in the tackle once more. Darryl Clark, one of the try scorers, and still keeping the ball alive. They've done a really good job of that throughout the afternoon as Wingfield once more goes down in the tackle. Clark, Wellsby. There's nobody at the back door here before Jowett does a good job of just shepherding that one out into touch.
Did ever so well, didn't he? Then I thought he was going to take a nasty bounce and come back into the field. That's the gamble that you take whenever you let the ball bounce.
We've seen it a lot so far in these opening rounds, haven't we, with players taking that gamble and letting the ball bounce. And in many occasions it's ended up with the player coming a cropper.
Well, because in situations like that, you know, if you catch the ball so close to the try line, you're going to have defenders around you who'll push it off the field and get another set of 6. Well, they're willing to take that gamble, and hope springs to mind that it goes over the sideline.
2, move Darryl!
Wakefield to the 30-metre line. There's another penalty going to be given here. The Saints players are offside.
Too close, play the rock.
Once again, Lino with the kick forward. And they got something left in the tank here, Wakefield, to try and push themselves a little bit closer. 20 points the difference between the two sides. Although, as you say, Terry, probably not a fair reflection of how the game has been.
Move now back! Jack, Johnny! Go on.
Truman, quick touch in towards McMeekin.
2, move together. Jack all the way.
And 4 players involved in the tackle. Referee wants them to get on with it more as they get 6 again.
Straight out, George.
So a real opportunity now for Wakefield to try and get some more points on the board. McMeekin with a quick one through out towards the right-hand side. Banganar bringing it forward.
Go to.
Waiting for support down to the right-hand side. Lino in towards Truman. Truman into the corner and too far for Lachlan Walmsley. And another try goes begging.
Yeah, well, they're obviously pushing the pass now, looking at the scoreboard, looking at the clock. They need points, unfortunately. It's Saints' strong defence. You can just look at them there, working, mapping off, making sure that the man who's got the ball, they're getting bodies in front and putting some real pressure on him. And John Bennison just buys a bit of time that if Walmsley does get that ball, he can effect the tackle.
Saints then
get tighter at marker.
Get possession back, and at this stage you can see the way some of the players are walking. They're in no mood to get on with it too quickly, because as far as they're concerned, they think the game's in back.
Well, that's it. Mission accomplished for Saints. In the start of the game, we spoke about it at half-time about the respect that they've shown for Wakefield, going for the 2 points early on when they were on offer.
Ignatius Parsi getting some attention from Croft and Lino.
Go to.
He's put some size on, hasn't he, Jack Croft?
Yeah.
Just come on the field for Wakefield.
3, open square, Mike. Hold.
But after 3 games in Super League so far, we've already assessed how St Helens are looking. What do you make of Wakefield? Because a lot of people were
really
tipping them to be, you know, down there at the bottom end, but they look like they're going to be a force, don't they?
Look, really impressed with them. The way they play, the way they turn up for each other. Always be tested, but great stadium here, great facilities. And they certainly backed themselves, took the championship by storm last year, and they've started the season really strongly.
High ball goes up again, and a little bit of confusion at the back once more. Wakefield are already looking to the future, because Australian hooker Tyson Smoothie, a brilliant name, is going to be joining Wakefield for 2026. The 25-year-old from Brisbane Broncos played in the 2023 Grand Final defeat. So they're already planning for next year. They certainly appear to be a club very much on the up, Wakefield Trinity.
All the way, George.
Just over 5 minutes remaining in this game, and I'll be asking you for your player of the match, Terry, in just a minute or two, when you've had a little bit of time to think about it. As Truman went down in the tackle there.
Tries to have a dig into the line. He's just caught over the top, isn't he, by Tristan Taylor.
So while we got this little break in play, have you made a decision, Terry?
Do you know, it's been difficult, really, and it has been really difficult to pick this, because I think Jack Welsby has been absolutely brilliant. But I had a hand in most things. Darryl Clark been good, the forwards have been good. But I'm going to go with the young man, Harry Robertson. He was involved, he scored the breakaway try in the first half. He's got plenty of talent and a great career ahead of him.
Cheers, David.
And I'm not just saying that because he's a witness lad. I do really rate this lad.
I knew there'd be a reason somewhere along the line.
Jack, all the way, Kyle.
Just before we were looking at the team sheet, and Terry kept saying to me, witness lad, witness lad, witness lad. Yeah, we know. Mason Lino. Chance here for Wakefield to try and get on the scoreboard, and once again Lachlan Walmsley, but he was under an awful lot of pressure there as the ball came to his hands, and sure enough it spills out.
He's had some attention, hasn't he? I think it was Matt Whitley that goes low on him. You can see he hits him with everything that he's got. He just goes over the top of him, comes on the drop off, and Matt Whitley just waiting, loitering with intent just to hit that winger.
This side, yeah.
He's another one of those players, isn't he? Made his career in the championship with Whitehaven, Halifax and Wakefield. 113 tries in 113 appearances. Phenomenal effort, phenomenal return. But as well as the try scoring, what I've been impressed with him, he's a big athletic winger who likes to get his side on the front foot with some strong carries as well.
Great character as well, because despite the fact that so many opportunities have come his way, and they've gone begging. He's not stopped coming back for more and more and more, has he?
Well, people sometimes, when they spend a lot of time in the Championship, when they get the opportunity to play in Super League, they don't let that go by. They give it absolutely everything that they've got.
Got a late tackle, yeah.
There's a penalty for a late shot, I think, here on Johnny Lomax.
Sure enough, the referee spotted that one.
What's that?
He does get some attention, doesn't he? But he doesn't stop the way he plays. He always goes deep into the line. He gets a defender interesting. Just a bit of a nudge from Mike McMeekan. And that's all it takes for the referee.
Inside the last 2.5 minutes of this game, and St Helens on their way to making it 3 from 3. They are looking pretty good in these early stages in Super League. But don't forget, later on at 8:30, we head stateside. Viva Las Vegas as Wigan take on Warrington in what will be a big, big weekend for the sport of rugby league as a whole. Ideally, I think St Helens would like to be involved in future games of that description. Infield then to Parsi. 6 to go here. Just a few metres from the line. St Helens not done yet. They still want to try and get another score if they possibly can. Wingfield waits. Goes himself. Pushing a bit further.
No, little drop off then, and Alex Walmsley was in. There was a big gaping hole just on the left-hand side of the ruck. I think it was Jake Wingfield just dummies him and gives him the ball, and there's a try on then.
Wingfield it will be to get things restarted eventually when the referee's happy. Parsi out to Lomax. Back into the aforementioned Alex Walmsley.
Back foot, Liam. Wait. Goal 3.
Wingfield looking to go himself again. He's desperate to get on the score sheet, isn't he?
He's got a penalty. Tony just goes over the top of Jake Wingfield. He gets out, comes back, targets that big fella.
Wellesby then. I think Walmsley was expecting that, but he's gone for Parsi instead. One big forward to another instead.
He's looking for the offload as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Surely it'll come out to Walmsley this time. No, Lomax out to Wellesby. Through the middle again for Batchelor, and they've come up with the ball here, Wakefield.
Move! Wait! Go on.
Got a couple of those steals away in this game, haven't they? Liam Hood got one in the first half.
Does seem to be another one of those factors that has been prevalent in a lot of games early on this season. Ball steals. Another penalty given.
If you get the opportunity and you do feel like not one of your teammates is going to join the tackle, you may as well go for it.
There goes the hooter. And St Helens will have one more play the ball against them, but they're wrapping up 2 points here in what has been a very professional performance. Ball still alive at the moment, though, as Corey Hall looks like he's going to run out of space. This is going to be a tackle on the halfway line. He goes to ground. That is the ball game. The players shake hands, and St Helens are coming away with the 2 points.
Yeah, big performance, like you said, professional performance from them. No, they absolutely nailed the game plan. They were big, they were strong. They knew they had to play big minutes against a good Wakefield side at home, followed by a big crowd that have turned up, always supporting the side. Justin Sale with a decent offload that set up the first try in the second half for Darryl Clark. And Jack Wellesby, well, he was very good.
A lot of players with a great amount of experience, and they've used a lot of that experience here this afternoon against a very, very plucky Wakefield side who, barring a few little errors here and there and a little bit of ill discipline, might have closed the scoreline a great deal more.
Well, I think it's a game that